We're back.
Yes,
Robert.
Yes.
So it was an interesting month. You know, we made the decision to do our special episodes.
That's right.
Because we thought that July was going to be a slow month.
Yes, it's exactly. It usually is. It usually is.
But as soon as we go dark,
that's right.
We had for some reason, Coldplay becomes the most popular band in the country, or if not the world again.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah. Astronomer made the Fortune 100 list because of it.
I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you saw it. Bitcoin hit the all-time high over 120,000.
Yeah,
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, sure. I was all excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just caught this. Your home state of Texas is doing some really weird things with gerrymandering.
Yes,
which is exciting.
That is shenanigans. That's what that's called. They're all collecting at that wonderful restaurant Shenanigans. Yeah.
But my question to you, that was the setup. My question to you is, what's the bit of news that you most regret us not talking about, that you would have been like, oh, this would have been really good show fodder for this?
Oh, the Gwyneth Paltrow video for July, with the Gwyneth Paltrow video for sure. Yeah. I mean, seeing Gwyneth do her goopy best, sort of talking about, how everything is, and hearing her talk about Apache software, like she even has any clue about what that even means. I mean, it was chef's kiss. So stupid. Yeah. By the way, spoiler alert, I thought it was a big fail. I thought, and I'm fully conscious of the fact that I'm one of the only ones who thinks it's a big fail.
I didn't realize that wasn't she married to the lead singer of
Coldplay,
of course, or something
like
that?
Yeah, she was married. Yeah.
Kind of interesting take on Astronomer's part, which now, don't you think that's like the, I mean,
that's okay. Ryan Reynolds. That's Ryan Reynolds. So here's the genius of it. Ryan Reynolds understood the assignment, and I would bet dollars to donuts that Ryan Reynolds called them up and said, "Hey, I got an idea for you." And because it was Ryan Reynolds, they all went, "Okay." And I'll bet you they didn't spend any money at that. I'll bet you he did all of that for free, just for the publicity.
Well, anything Ryan Reynolds does is gold, in my opinion. So I would have done it if he'd. I would do pretty much anything if he asked me to. Pretty much anything. Anyways,
is he on your list? Is he on the list?
Oh, it's absolutely. I've got. Right. I mean, he's 1 and 2. I mean,
goodness gracious. All right.
All right. I'm excited to be back. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Just remember, everybody has your story to tell. Tell it well. Of this old marketing.
And now, for your listening pleasure, here's Polizzi and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. This old marketing. Take it away, boys.
Well, hello, friends. Welcome back to This Old Marketing, the classic This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And I'm Robert Rose. And, well, we are back. And welcome to episode number 492 for Friday, August 8th, 2025. And with me, as usual, and for the first time in a month, is my pal, my colleague, and a guy who's now the number 4 on the Cleveland Browns quarterback depth chart, Mr. Joe Polizzi.
Actually, it's number 5 because they signed another quarterback.
No, but but aren't 2 of them hurt? Like, I mean, I think you have 7 quarterbacks now, and
yeah,
3 of them are hurt.
3 are hurt. 3 are hurt right now. The one rookie's hurt, and who else is hurt? Well, Deshaun Watson is hurt.
Yeah.
Of course,
Deshaun Watson is hurt.
Buddy Hackett is hurt.
Right. Lou Costello, he's hurt. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Yeah. It's gonna be an interesting year.
My favorite part of this was the press conference that Shedeur Sanders had, where they were like, "Hey, are you going to bring, is your dad coming? Is your dad going to come and see you?" And he's like, well, I kind of want him to only see me after I've had a chance to like practice a little more. Like, I want to be good before he sees me. It's like, okay, all right, good for you. You do you, Shedeur.
The scary thing is that his arm was hurting a couple weeks ago because he's
Oh,
been
I'm
throwing all
sure.
these reps, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, and basically he said that's because I know I get hot and then I get cold and then I get hot and the arm's not used to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
get ready for November in Cleveland because
Yeah.
you're gonna go
Exactly.
hot and cold really fast.
Oh,
I'm
he's-
predicting. I want to get your Cowboys prediction. I'm predicting 4 victories this year for the
Ooh,
Cleveland
all
Browns.
right.
I'm predicting either 4 victories or AFC champs.
Okay.
It's gonna be. There's nothing in between.
That's the Cleveland Brown way. Is
There's
absolutely it. Yeah.
You got to
There's
be
no in
excited
between.
for your
No.
Cowboys.
No, I mean, I mean, look, the drama now, of course, is Micah Parsons and his contract,
Always
and
drama.
all of that. Oh, it wouldn't be a Cowboys offseason if there weren't drama. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm a fan. You can see I'm wearing the hat this week. I'm going this weekend. I'm going to go to training camp as I do every year, and sort of. I paid for the good seat this year, so I'll get a seat in the shade and I can sip a drink and watch them practice before they go play the Rams in preseason. And I'm excited. I'm excited because it's football. That's really the only reason I'm excited.
Well, you know how big of fans Pam and I are of the Browns, and
of course
we've been season ticket holders for over 15 years now. But this is the first year we are not season ticket holders since then. So we decided not to give our money to the Browns this year. We're going to give it to other organizations. So we'll probably go to the UK game in London and do that, and we'll probably go to the Vegas game because I want to go see a game in Vegas, and the Browns happen to be playing there. So,
all right.
So yeah,
That's
so we're gonna do
fun.
that, and we're gonna take that money that we were gonna give to the Browns organization and splinter it off.
Spend it in London and Vegas. There you go.
Spend it in other places that I think deserve it more. And by the way, we also didn't cover this. They're starting to break ground for the new Cleveland Browns stadium, which will not be in Cleveland. Did you hear the news on this one? It's
well, I mean, but
Park,
but that's the Cowboys haven't been in Dallas for 20 years, right? They were never really in Dallas, even in the original days. They were in Irving, but so
I know. But anyways, for those of you who care, the new Brown Stadium, which will be a dome entertainment complex extravaganza, which will be right next to our wonderful airport. So, and by the way, just 2.5 miles from my house.
That's lovely.
Oh,
you can walk.
Literally, we're gonna, and that'll be the first game. We'll take a parade down our street all the way to New Brown Stadium. I hope it's a Cowboys game because that
would be fun. I would totally walk with you. I would walk that.
With me. We'll ride. Maybe we'll ride a tricycle or something like that.
There you go. I love it.
Whatever. Anyways, so I loved your special episogot.
I loved yours as well.
They were great.
But let's not do that again.
And I think we got clear feedback from the audience that said, meh. It's good. It's okay.
This chocolate's good. But peanut butter's good. Chocolate and peanut butter.
Much better together. Yeah.
We are the chocolate.
And so I'm
excited.
Lives, folks. I'm excited to do this. So what do we have in order?
We have a good show. We have a good show. We are going to talk a little more about the NFL because the big story this week was Disney. Disney had an incredible 24-hour period where they have launched a new app for ESPN, but they have also launched and acquired the NFL Network, or at least a good chunk of it. And so with this new deal, there's a lot going on with football and Disney and content and the way that they're going to go to market, which is just fascinating to talk about. Then we will also talk about online anonymity and anonymity, I should say, and basically age and how that is shifting very quickly. And we'll ask the question, is the age of online anonymity over? Then we'll pay some bills, of course, and then we'll come back and talk about the SB. Which is basically the network of sites have completely redesigned their sites for Google Zero and Zero Click, and we'll talk about what they did to do the redesign and why they did it. So affecting really publishers and marketers everywhere. And then we'll get to our winners and losers, and I'm going to talk about a couple of losers being Vogue. And American Eagle. Yes, I'm going to go down that road with the Sweeney thing. So I promised myself I wouldn't, and then I did.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
have to. That's
Yeah.
this is sort of the thing that you
Yeah.
stand on. I mean, these are important
And then
times.
Joe's going to talk about a winner, Savannah Bananas. Of course, they're winning at life more than anything else. I think
Our
they're
friend
just-
Jesse Cole. Yes, he's doing it.
And then we'll get to our rants and raves, and I'm going to talk about the new Star Trek series. I'm going to give you a big 100% guess about which way I'm going to go on the rants and raves with the new Star Trek series. And Joe is going to have some commentary about CEOs and the earnings seasons that we've just come out of, and how content creators are something that every big company seems to be doubling down on now. So it is a chock-a-block show. It is a chock-a-block full show coming back here in August. So,
and we knew how, I mean, so far so good. I knew the right buttons to press and
right.
I've got the ads ready to go up, which I can't wait to get to again.
By the way, I'm gonna say this because you are the one who always is sort of the command center for this live sort of thing that we do, by pushing the intro and the outro and the ads and all that kind of stuff. So I had to do that obviously in my solo episode, and they don't pay us to do this. In fact, we pay them for the privilege of doing this. But StreamYard, I gotta just say, the more I get into using StreamYard, it's just a really great platform. It's just really,
it's relatively easy. I mean, you're way more.
They should give it to us for free for saying that, but they don't. But I'd say it anyway because it is a really good platform.
I don't even know who owns them now, because they were used to be a sponsor, then they got sold off and whatever. But yeah, I would recommend. Yeah, we're not getting paid for this. If you needed you wanted to do your podcast on YouTube or get the video going, it's fantastic. It's super easy.
Well, what
we
really
were doing
nice
this all along on Skype. God.
Oh, I know.
Skype days.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, well, here's the thing. It's great for what we do is use it for, the way we use it for, which is to actually use it as a publishing tool out to LinkedIn and YouTube and all the things that we do. But it's also just a great way to record video, really record high quality video. It's got all the tools. It's got, templates and all that. Anyway, I sound like
I didn't know. Congratulations on being a part of the StreamYard board, Robert. That was a nice.
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Okay. All right. All right.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right to give them some kudos. So,
yeah.
There you go.
All right.
All right.
Let's jump into it. Our big show. We're going to start with the Morning Brew article here, and because it covers both of the sort of elements of the what we want to talk about with Disney. So the headline is that Disney had an extremely busy 24 hours. The company announced earnings, streaming news, and a deal with the NFL. And the article opens up by saying, just like a one-day trip to Disney, we have a lot of ground to cover. I think my writer's very proud of that first line, I'm sure.
AI driven. That was AI.
That's not an AI driven art. No, there's no way. So let's dive into all the big news from the company that brought us John Carter. Now that might be an AI joke right there.
Nobody but half the people reading that, they don't even remember John Carter.
They don't. That's such an obscure sort of weirdly specific reference. It's anyway, but I'm sure Dave Lozo, who is the author here, is very proud of that joke. Anyway,
I'm ashamed of you. Come on, better
earnings. The company recorded a mostly dead fiscal Q3 yesterday. Revenue fell short of expectations, $23.65 billion versus $23 billion expected, but the earnings beat projections. And the streaming business was up 6% with Disney Plus and Hulu subscribers on the rise. By the way, there was another announcement. They're going to kill Hulu and they're going to pull it into Disney full stop.
Surprise.
Another announcement.
Yeah.
But basically say hello to the ESPN app. So this ESPN, we've been talking about the demise and death of ESPN for I don't know how long, but now ESPN's got new life injected into it because it's going to launch on August 21st. It's going to cost $30 a month. It's going to include all the network's channels. And basically, now this is a good joke, basically, with another way to welcome Stephen A. Smith into your life, which is like nobody wants, but it's a good joke. That's a good joke. And anyway, they also... the longtime power couple is now moving together. The NFL is taking a 10% stake in ESPN, and basically ESPN will now own the NFL Network and Red Zone channel and will fold the NFL's fantasy product into its own platform. Huge. That's a lot of content news and a lot of marketing and go-to-market news in one sort of article there. I mean, I think to me, I just see this as Disney recognizing how strong event-driven content like football is, and this is doubling down on that.
Well, the comment, first of all, let's talk about, I want to get back to the app thing because I want to get your take on something.
Yeah.
But let's just talk about
Sure.
the deal itself. And I know it's different when you talk Disney and the NFL, they're sort of both media companies and both not media companies. So it's a little bit weird. But I think the fact that you have a media company buying a percentage of the NFL's content platform is a thing that we might see more of with corporate brands. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you could see that where if you have a Cisco Systems or another company in some B2B area that's done a really good Schneider Electric or something like that's been building out a content marketing property, I think you could start to say, hey, there's a media company here where we want to buy that. This brand has done a really good job with their media. Let's buy that. Let's figure out some kind of partnership. If you could figure out where you're not going to give preferential treatment, where the media company doesn't give preferential treatment to the brand, to the corporate brand, you're going to see more and more of this, because I think these brands don't necessarily want to do media.
Yeah.
But they have to. And of course, that's why we do this show.
And we talk about this all. So think about this for a second, because we talk about this all the time when it comes to companies in marketing acquiring either content creators or small blogs or something like that, as sort of a quote unquote acqui-hire or that sort of thing. And we say, okay, maybe acquisition is the wrong word, because now all of a sudden you got to get, all these people involved, and you got to get all these kinds of things involved. And we often talk about this idea of like, look, you can go in as a marketing team to a third-party blogger or a small content company who doesn't really have the resources for scalable operations, who doesn't have the ability to go out and sell advertising, or doesn't have the ability to create develop an audience and all those kinds of things. And you can say, look, we're not going to acquire you. We're going to just become your exclusive benefactor. We're going to become your exclusive sponsor. And so you're neither hiring the person nor are you actually acquiring the company, but you're basically becoming their exclusive, and you can then control all the things that the company would be good at that the individual or the small little organization wouldn't, things like measurement and audience development and all those things. And you get the benefit of the content, right? You get the benefit of the reach of the audience and the direction of the audience and all of that. And it's such a smart strategy. This is basically the NFL going, hey, listen, we're not good at operating a TV network. So let's just get that off of our bottom line, and let's just let them have that, and then we'll take a 10% stake, and we're good to go, because we get the money without the effort. And it's just a genius move.
Well, see, here's the thing. This type of partnership is not new, except for one thing, because I mean, as you know, that's how I grew up. We were doing custom publishing deals with brands didn't want to do their magazines. They didn't want to do their blogs. They didn't want to do their podcasts. So we would come in, we would put together the editorial team, the operations, the measurement, do it for them. And nobody knew that. Like, you never publicize that, oh, hey, here's my contract outsourced team or agency that's doing that. The difference here is that they're taking a stake. They're actually saying, we want a piece of this. That's the difference, where I think you're going to start seeing more and more, because if you do a 2 or 3 year deal let's say you're an agency and you're going to do a 2 or 3 year deal, you're investing a lot of resources and a lot of people power and a lot of operations into this. And after 2 or 3 years, you're like, they could go, the NFL or whoever the brand is, can go looking for someone else. And it is disheartening, and it can kill a company. In this case, that's not going to happen. Right. Because it's like, hey, we're becoming married here. Yeah. This is a thing. That's right. We want this, and they see the potential in this. So I'm kind of excited about this.
Yeah, it's
what it means.
There's a lot of lessons to learn. In the early days, and you would know way more about this than I did. In the early days, didn't the airlines also take a piece of the revenue for the airline magazines? Because that was all custom publishing as well. Absolutely. Didn't they get a piece of the revenue of the advertising, or did they not?
Well, there's a lot of different types of deals, but the most popular one is, let's say, okay, we're this old marketing agency, and we're going to go to Southwest Airlines, and we're going to say, hey, Southwest, we're going to produce your magazine completely free. Yeah. We're going to take all the revenue, we're going to take on all the expenses, and we're going to kick back to you 20% or 25% or 40% or whatever of the revenue. And that's it. And the reason why is because Southwest had that audience and they couldn't go anywhere else or do anything.
Captured audience for sure. Yeah.
Captured audience. That's it. So that was the deal. And we were in on a couple pitches. And when you start looking at that business model, you get a little worried because you're like, you're taking on every bit of
all the risk. Yeah.
With it. So this is a little bit of a different case, I think, because there's shared risk.
Sure, of course. And it's, I mean, you're talking about Disney and the NFL. I mean, that's a marriage made in heaven, right? I mean,
again, little peanut butter and jelly,
there it is.
Little chocolate and peanut butter.
There you go.
But what I want to, so here's the part about this 24 hours of Disney that I want to get your take on.
24 hours of Disney. Okay. Yeah.
That could go either way, but
yeah, I know. I know.
Like, what does that mean?
I know.
The app. So ESPN finally busts out the standalone app that we've been asking for 10 years. Like, can I just get ESPN without the bundle, without whatever? And they're going to say, yes, we're going to do this app. And you can go, over the top, whatever you want to call it, and get this app. Is this now a time where we're trying to figure out, because of AI and all those other things, we want to create the destination again? Because, there's always trends. It's like, no, we want to be everywhere. We want to be available on all the social platforms or whatever. And now we're like, oh, no, now we want to bring it back to an app, and we want to have them just in our app and in our own environment.
Yep.
Is it moving back to that direction because of the current environmental trends, or what do you think?
I do.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the trend that is definitely there is setting up walled gardens, right? Setting up your own very audience specific walled gardens. And normally you go, well, why isn't, so here's two perfect examples in the Disney, right? For Hulu, they're going to pull it into Disney, right? So you're going to go into the Disney app, and whether it's on your TV or your phone or your iPad or whatever it is, you're going to go into, and you're going to see all the Hulu programming there. So they're going to integrate the content. Why? It's ostensibly the same audience, right? It's ostensibly a broad audience looking for entertaining content of movies and TV shows, et cetera. Sure. So, but ESPN, they're going to segment out. And why? It's a very specific audience, a very niche audience. And they can leverage the fact that real estate is more attractive to ads if they want to, if they want to keep an ad model going but plus a subscription model or whatever they want to do. So it becomes easier to monetize that as a segmented idea versus a combined idea. And so you can see both of those strategies working perfectly. And that's sort of where we are in terms of thinking about, well, how are we creating our websites? Are we creating online communities? Are we pulling everybody in together into one community, or are we sort of segmenting out by product or whatever? That's sort of the calculus that you can see happening in real time here, which is who is the audience, and how do we want to segment them to optimize our ability to monetize the content. So yes, 100%. I think you're right.
It's interesting the WWE play with this, and the only thing that I'm not sure about, maybe you are, it says that ESPN will fold the NFL's fantasy product in. Does that mean gambling too? Is that gambling revenue? Yeah. So okay, so this could be huge. I mean, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and it's we'll see, because that may be another reason that they're leaving the ESPN brand alone, because it does provide a bit of arm's length for that between the Disney brand and the Disney ecosystem. Yeah, exactly. By the way, side note before we move on, I don't know if you heard, but we had 2 pitchers for the Cleveland Guardians that are probably you got caught on the kiss cam, basically. Well, no, but probably get lifetime suspensions, including my favorite pitcher, Emmanuel Clase, for basically throwing a ball for first pitch of the game or at certain moments, and there's these huge bets that happened that you can bet on whether or not this is a ball or a strike. And we have 2, Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase, both got dinged with this, and they're under investigation, but they've already cleaned out their lockers, and they're already, I think they're both back in the Dominican Republic. Wow. It's a huge, so, I know we're little Cleveland Guardians and this happened, but watch out, because gambling is so intertwined with American sports right now and worldwide sports. Yeah. I think you're going to see more of this. I think you've got to get rid of the buy play throwing the game, like, because it's concerning.
Oh, it's crazy.
That
You
this
can
is
bet on
gonna
the
happen.
kickoff, whether the laces are going to be out or in. I mean,
All
it's
that kind of
so
stuff.
stupid.
And
yeah.
it doesn't take much, right? It's like, oh yeah, I mean, whatever. I would probably throw a ball anyways. What's not going to hurt anything.
Yeah.
Well, now one of the greatest pitchers that we've seen at the Cleveland Guardians Class A is not going to pitch anymore, and he's in his prime and he's amazing. Yeah. So what was he doing? So
yeah.
Anyways,
that's insane.
On a brighter note.
Yeah,
there is one.
The brighter note here is that we're gonna do our own version of I don't know how to segue this, but just say we're gonna pay our bills.
Oh,
so
okay, good.
We're gonna pay our bills here, and you got to debut the August ads last
Very
week.
exciting. I had some commentary, but I have some questions after this rolls.
Okay, there we go.
So everybody, by the way, if you want to watch these, go to our YouTube channel, This Old Marketing, and check these out. It's
there it is.
There you go.
I had a dream. It had microphones, a budget of zilch, and a box full of scones. We hit record, no clue what we'd say, but Joe showed up, so we made it a play. We had heart, we had brains, we had takes that were spicy. We were running on caffeine and vibes, not precisely what you call a business model. But hey, we were rebels with sponsors, a Venmo away. Then came the bills like a tragic refrain. Web hosting gear, a subscription to Grain. Our dreams were intact, but the check-in was tense, so we gave in to with a bit of pretense. We're just paying the bills with harmonized frills. We sold just enough to keep chasing the thrills. And if you hear us pitch socks while we sing in our crowd, that's the sound of the hustle. Paying the bills. Yes, paying the
bills. You don't become the world's most valuable women's sports franchise by accident. Angel City Football Club did it with a little help from HubSpot. When they started, data was housed across multiple systems. HubSpot unified their website, email marketing, and fan experience into one platform. This allowed their small team of 3 to build an entire website in just 3 days. The results? Nearly 350 new signups a week and 300% database growth in just 2 years. Visit HubSpot.com to see how HubSpot can help you grow better. Are you looking for a new podcast to evangelize? Well, let me tell you about The Sales Evangelist, hosted by Donald Kelly, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network. Each week, Donald interviews the world's best sales experts, successful sellers, sales leaders, and entrepreneurs who share their strategies to succeed in sales right now. Folks like Jeffrey Gitomer, Joe Conrad, Bob Berg, and Guy Kawasaki, just to name a few. They share actionable insights and stories that are going to encourage, challenge, and motivate you to hustle your way to a top income status. If you're someone looking to take off in your sales career and earn the income you deserve, this is the podcast for you. You can find Sales Evangelist wherever you find your favorite pods.
We're just paying the bills with harmonized frills. We sold just enough to keep chasing the thrills. And if you hear us pitch socks while we sing in our crowd, that's the sound of the hustle. Paying the bills. Yes, paying the bills. Paying the
You know,
it's gold. That's just, I mean,
first of all,
I'm real proud of myself. I'm real proud of myself. Yeah.
The song is fantastic.
The song is fire. The song is fire.
And yeah, I mean, I was grooving over here. I've been listening to it on, even when I'm not on the podcast, I listen to that. It's so good.
Yeah, it's Broadway at its finest. That was so much fun to write the lyrics for that one.
But my favorite part of the video is at the end, and then right before we go to the ads. I look really good. I look like I'm about 6'2",
sure.
And you look,
and I turn into a Catskills comedian for like a 60-year-old Catskills comedian.
Yeah, and as the video goes on, you're getting shorter.
Yeah,
Which is
I'm getting
kinda
shorter, sort of like,
interesting.
"Hello, where are you? I'm looking for the stage right about now."
Hello, where's my shoes and my glasses?
Exactly.
I need to find them.
But I looked really good in the beginning.
You
The
do.
first shot of me
In the
singing
beginning
is
where we're
yeah.
dancing with the chord is a little sus, as the kids would say.
Oh my god! But
I'm a
that's my
little
that was my favorite part. Uh,
like
the
we're
prompt for that, by the way, was just the two of us in a recording studio, sort of trying to figure out how to record or something, and but also dancing, and so that and it somehow put us into
it
a
got
ballet
weird.
or something. It got really
It got a
weird.
little weird.
It got
The
a
whole
little
thing's
weird.
a little weird. No, I have my questions for you is
Yeah,
so this is your third video, and
that's right.
for so those people, we have some newer listeners since I think we're growing a little bit,
Yeah,
which
a
is
little
great.
bit. Yeah.
Can you go through kind of what are you doing now, and what have you learned? Like, what's a couple takeaways so people that are going to get into some of this AI stuff here? What do you think?
Sure. Well, I mean, so first of all, I use Suno for the music.
Yes,
I write all the lyrics, but then of course I put in, and Suno has gotten really good. I mean, in terms of being able to customize and doing
just in the last few months.
just in the last few months,
It's amazing.
they've really elevated their game in terms of being. So, for example, one of the things that I need for the song is for it to go to an instrumental, right? After because I only put in like one verse because I only let's be honest, nobody needs more than 30 seconds of this. So I try and make it about 30 seconds, which is time for one verse and then into a chorus that'll be, catchy and all that. So I write one verse and a chorus for lyrics, and then I tell it that that's what it is. And so you can do that now. You can structure and say, this is a verse, this is pre-chorus. So you get all that sort of cool, build up to the chorus. Then you say, this is the chorus, and it has to have these words and all that stuff. So it does all that stuff great. But what wasn't there before was like, I want it to continue into an instrumental after that, because it would just repeat the song. It used to just repeat. But I like going into the instrumental because then I don't have to edit when I pull the volume down and do the rest of the ads,
Sure.
which is fantastic. And now you can do that. I don't know if you could hear underneath. It was like, it goes
I
into
can
this,
hear
like,
it. Yeah,
just,
absolutely.
paying up bills, pay it. I mean, it was so good. It was so much fun to get into that. Anyway, so there's that. The other thing is, damn, is it hard to get good results out of Google Flow and all that kind of stuff. It's just really hard to get. You have to try so often to get, and look, I'm not even trying for good. Like, I'm trying for ridiculous and stupid, right?
Yeah.
So getting to ridiculous and stupid is pretty easy, but all the stuff like me being so short and, and my face melting off and all that stuff, I'm leaving that in because
Oh yeah, we
don't care.
want this.
Right. We don't care. Right. This is not supposed to be like fooling anybody that this isn't AI. And in fact, part of the cartoonishness of it is that it is AI. So, but if you were really trying to make this good, the amount of work that it would take to really make this good is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And and it's just a lot of work.
But I think what's interesting, so you're seeing this on the audio side because you're saying how quickly it's adapting, and we're not quite there on the video side. But what I love about this little experiment is we keep doing it month to month. I think we'll be able to see in almost real time, like, okay, this month improvement. I'm assuming improvement until we're 12 months from now, we're gonna be like, holy crap, that was amazing, and Robert's face isn't melting off anymore,
right.
and this is brilliant.
It could be that. It could be that.
Could be that, or it could be the end of the world,
or it could just be. It could just be that this is what it's going to be forever. But
no,
I will say this: it's also much easier to do. So, for example, this genre. The fun thing is playing with the different genres of music, obviously. But then, so the genre of music of the Broadway musical was great for the song, and I could play around with it, and I could pull from different styles, and I've really tried for a little sort of a cross between classic Sondheim and Lin-Manuel Miranda, so sort of that fun, fast, lots of words sort of thing. And then but the music video is way hard if you're not doing sort of a movie trailer style music video. Like last month when we were doing like the truck driving down the road and the barn and people going into the barn and all that kind of stuff, That's way easier than having you and me on a stage singing and dancing and all that kind of stuff, which is, of course, what you need. So, which is why you see all the chorus lines and all that stuff, and the bear and the Phantom of the Opera, who's really podcasting.
And the two people that are crying and they look like they've got wax coming out.
Oh
of
my
their
God,
eyes.
it's so good.
That's
it's
really,
so good
really
because
good.
we're so touching. Our songs
We are
so
touching.
touching.
It is. I mean, I'm a little verklempt myself. So what are you gonna say?
There you go.
All right, great
All
stuff. I love it. What do we got next?
We got the next is sort of our main story for this show, which is coming to us courtesy of something called, I didn't know about this. You sent me this, the Published Press. I'd never heard of this site before.
So it's a great newsletter.
Is it?
Good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So basically the headline here for their article is the age of online anonymity over? And it opens up by saying countries including the UK, Ireland, Australia, and the US have recently introduced or passed legislation that would require social media platforms to verify users' ages before they can access the sites. Creators, they're not convinced. So at the end of July, YouTube announced that it'll begin testing a feature that uses AI to estimate whether a user is a minor, applying age-appropriate experiences regardless of the birthday on the account. If a user is wrongly labeled as a child, ID must be provided, and Meta began preparing to expand its video selfie age verification tool last month under increased pressure from state governments weighing legislation to stop kids from accessing inappropriate content. Advocates for these online safety laws say that they protect children, but some creators have a different perspective. Basically, one of the quotes from a content creator was at the White House Content Creator Summit last August. Neera Tanden got up on stage and in front of all those content creators said, basically, we want to remove anonymity from the web. Tech journalist Taylor Lorenz told us that should terrify all of these content creators. That's a fascinating take anyway here. So the creator industry seems to be saying, basically encouraging creators to vocalize concerns about how ID verification will negatively impact the creator economy. And the big beneficiary of all this is sort of the VPN companies, because they'll be lobbying because they know it'll drive more customers. So big questions here, big ramifications for marketing, for content creators, for publishers, all sorts of things. What is your take?
I have many.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I'm a little. I don't really know where to go with this one, because you know that I've been preaching for the past 5 years that if we start to document people on certain platforms and who they are, so you need an ID, some kind, to get through, that some of the things that we're seeing negatively happen on these platforms would go away, because you have a person behind it. They're not going to throw out some of the content they've thrown out. You would be able to protect children a little bit more because they wouldn't be able to get certain content or be on certain platforms. And I'm all for that. And then you get a take like this one, and I am biased in the fact of recent news, where you have things that are happening in Texas now where they're trying to make sure you get certain people heard, certain people not heard. You have things going on in the world right now where you're like, if you look like this or you believe these things, things might happen to you.
Right.
And that wasn't the case a few years ago. And now it seems to be. So I think not only is this a thing where it might hurt the creator economy, I think that might be a freedom issue, where if you get more large institutions and corporations that know who you are, does that mean that we get different content, that certain people will be targeted in different ways?
Well, of course it does.
I know. That's my concern. So now I'm almost back to, well, maybe we should just maybe it should be anonymous. Maybe this part of anonymity is what makes the internet great. And if we start to know where everyone is at and who everyone is, we think that, oh yeah, to protect the children. Yeah. But I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword for sure, right? I mean, because you can think about this, and we often in marketing talk about personalization, right? So being sort of the brass ring of targeting our content to addressable audiences. Yeah. And you and I have evangelized the idea of addressable audiences from a marketing perspective for, I don't know, what now, 20 years?
Since we were babies.
And so, yeah, exactly. And so the ability to target a message to an individual and deliver, and so you assume that you have good intentions there, and that your intentions are to serve that value to that individual based on their personal preferences and what you understand their needs and wants to be. So if you assume the positive side of the sword, you go, that's a fantastic idea. It fits right into the idea of social media platforms knowing that things are kids, so it can stop doing things like, recommending, bad videos and videos that bring down, morale and bring down emotions and, heighten depression and all the things that are, going on right now with young people and the abuse of social media. So you think, okay, great, that fixes that, right? That's what these laws are all about. The other side, of course, is that it just gives them, new powers to target content in ways that may or may not be what you want, and this is what the other side of that is, where you've got companies like TikTok, right? Where imagine everybody's identifiable on TikTok right now. And you basically can look at somebody's ID and you know exactly who they are, et cetera, et cetera. And everybody's fears about propaganda and news and influencing, entire generations of people politically and all of that come to fruition as well. It takes out the idea of the sort of anonymous investigative journalism. It takes out the whistleblower. It takes out so many different things on the other side that we have to. So it's not an easy issue at all. It's not an easy issue. I tend to say that for certain platforms, it is a good thing. It is. I believe it's going to be a net good thing in order to, for example, LinkedIn is pretty well identifiable, right? You can fake a profile on LinkedIn,
Correct.
but you've got to go to some length to be able to do that. And so, getting people identified on a social media platform, I think does ultimately make sense. YouTube is a different cat, right? Because YouTube isn't a social media platform. It's just a media, like nobody goes to YouTube to collaborate and communicate with their friends and stuff like that. You only go to YouTube to consume content. And so there it's like, okay, well, that's more like censorship on young kids, basically, rating content to PG-13 and R and stuff like that, where, okay, but we don't do that with cable TV. We don't do that with broadcast television. We don't do that. There are certain standards in place, but it's a very complex issue, and one that I don't think anybody has any really good, solid answers to.
I think that it might be something similar to when you go to alcohol sites, where, and besides just saying, yes, I am 21 or older,
which of course you don't, that's all you have to do now, right? You don't even have to, it used to be like you had to put in your birthday or something, like which you would, of course, fake immediately. Now you just go, are you over 18? Yes. Okay, you're in.
But you could say you go to YouTube and you have the swath of content, and that comes up and says, we don't know how old you are. So if you would like to watch this, please do. But we need to have an ID or something like that, or a universal, which I think is coming at some point in the next 5 years, where you will have that, for good or bad, this universal ID. And that when that happens, it could affect some people for the positive and negative. But I think mostly for the larger companies that know who you are, who can target, and we can even get more bifurcated with how our media is. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting, because then you add in let's just say complexity. I won't say complication, but complexity of, 4 years ago, when blockchain and, that whole thing was sort of the technology du jour. This was something that was going to be solved, right? This was an idea that could be solved, which is you could prove an individual identity without giving any personal information away. And so that's an interesting idea as well, to sort of add a complexity to this, which is, does it make sense to start to think about identification where it's held by someone else, not the government and not the company, but it's held by the identification is held either personally in a personal wallet, or it's held, in some other third party sort of inaccessible area, like a blockchain, where that identity confirms you are who you say you are, but there's no personal information getting transferred back and forth.
That's valid. I mean, if you look at, let's just say that you wanted to invest in something like Bitcoin, you could have it on a Coinbase platform, but that could get confiscated. Anything that's out and available in a public institution or private institution that has access to the banks and whatever, that could get frozen.
Yeah.
But theoretically, if it works well, you could take that off. That's still on the blockchain, but the keys are off.
Yeah.
So you can hold that in yourself,
There
and
was-
nobody can take that from you again, theoretically.
There was some amazing work, and I honestly haven't followed it at all. But I got to know Doc Searles, who basically was one of the authors of the Clue Train Manifesto all the way back to 2000, right? And I was very lucky to get to know Doc a little bit during some of the masterminds that I attend. And he was working on a thing with, I think it was Harvard. They were talking about what they called a VRM solution, a vendor relationship management solution for consumers as well as businesses, where basically if you're the buyer or consumer, you would manage your personal information, and the VRM system would then allow you to control anything, like, what information I allow Amazon to have, what information I allow Salesforce to have, what information do I allow Facebook to have, and you basically manage your information. And so when you updated it, you would be updating it for everybody, because they would all be connecting into your vendor relationship management system. And it was, it's a very thorny problem to try and solve, and they were trying to solve it. And so something like that could also be, on the horizon here.
It's going to get crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to get crazy.
Hey, so let's move to our winners and losers, where you and I pick a winner or a loser from the last couple of weeks in marketing. And boy, have there been a bunch in the last month. Do you want to start with your winner?
Yeah,
here?
Mine's brief. I've talked
Jesse?
about Jesse Cole and the Savannah Bananas before. I'll put this in the show notes. There's an excellent article in 2 days ago, Wall Street Journal. What can MLB learn from the Savannah Bananas? A lot, it turns out. Again, it's rehashing some of the things that we've already talked about on the show about fans first mentality and the business model that Jesse's done. Basically, there's 3 million people on the waiting list to go to Savannah Bananas games. They have, I think they're going to play 73 games this year.
Yeah.
The Savannah Bananas, there are the Savannah Bananas on I think on Instagram have a larger reach than Major League Baseball does. It is, they go anywhere in any market in the United States and they immediately sell out. And it is really something, but there's a couple things that gave me pause, and I just wanted to talk about them because I think it's important. The one thing, this is lesson 2 in the article, talks about making pregame an event. And what I thought was, we always talk about, okay, well, the content, that's the most important, whatever, but I always think about all the different parts that go into the experience around the content that are also part of the education and entertainment. If you just take apart an event, like the registration process of going to an event should be an event. And that's how they think about it. And like, if you go to a pregame for Savannah Bananas, you're in an event. Right. There's programming. It's all going on. If you go to a Major League Baseball game, you're just kind of waiting. There's some things they're going to call it announcements. Don't go on the field. Don't throw a ball, all those things. But there's not an event going on. Pre-game, during the game, post-game, they're all separate events and they're separately planned. And I think we have to think about that with our own content. But the one thing that I thought was super interesting, again, I'm going to talk about this a little bit later with my commentary as well, but they do the best job of marketing their players that has ever been done in the history of social media, of content creation, of influencer marketing. Their players have millions of followers. There are people that go to games to follow the players that you would never know who they are, because they say, okay, well, how can the organization says, how can we make you better? Like, how can we get you a following?
Yep.
And this is something that really smart organizations are doing, that I think we have to be doing in our companies now. Like, you have to look out and say, who in our engineering department, who in our operations, you have to target these people and say, okay, how do we build them up? How do we build them up on social? How do we help them with their newsletters? How do we help them with their podcasts? That is just as the marketing of that individual is just as important, I think, as the work they're doing.
Sure.
So I think that's the one thing. And I'll put if you get a chance, read the article. It's really, there's like 6 or 7 lessons. But I think that one is really key.
It's the key. It is the key these days. I mean, it's like the whole calculus has shifted, right? Where it used to be you'd have your brand on LinkedIn or you'd have your brand's Facebook page and all that kind of stuff, and you were trying to build your audience there. And it's like, no, those days are gone, right? Now what you've got is your employees, your influencers, your people, your leadership, everybody in your company building their sort of presence and posting all the things that they're doing. And the brand page is just retweeting or reposting their stuff, right? Yep. And it's like, so you're basically reversing the whole thing. Instead of you reposting the brand's post, you're basically, the brand is reposting your post. And
that's right.
And so it's all about helping them build, because that's where the traction is. That's where you're getting traction.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's not rocket science. Look at the top podcasts in the world. Look at the top YouTube channels in the world. They're individuals.
Yep. Well, what's so funny, dude, is that it's feeling very much like, because I've been in the midst of my own sort of trying to, okay, I've got the book coming out, I've got my own marketing, I'm trying to figure out how I'm sort of, really taking my brand to the next level and all that kind of stuff. And it feels so much, very much like 2008, 2009, where your goal was to really get your content footprint everywhere except your own website, right? You were trying to basically build awareness by getting your thoughts, your thinking, your thought leadership out in the world. And it wasn't social media back then. It was like, can I guest post? Can I guest article? Can I, get associated with this brand? Can I get associated with that brand? And really build your awareness of your thinking and your content out there. And then, yes, you had to have your sphere of influence, your website, your email newsletter, or whatever it was, to sort of bring people into, to build your audience. But it feels so very much like, how can I get more guest posting? How can I get more guesting on podcasts? How can I get myself out in all the places where AI is referencing and search is linking to and all that stuff?
That's exactly right. I think that's the key for anyone that says, I want to be in these AI results. We're in this no-click era. So you need to be out there as whether, if you want to call it the expert or a name, or influential in these areas, all over the place.
That's right.
So because who knows? It could change. It could change at any time, but that seems to be the way to do it.
Yeah,
is be in many different places.
Exactly.
What do you got?
I got two losers, in fact. One I'm going to mention briefly, and then the other I might go into a little more detail on. But I think they both sort of indicate a larger trend that I wrote a little bit about this week while we were sort of off on our own little worlds. The first loser is Vogue and the brand Guess. And because if you didn't see, they were sort of purporting an ad. Guess had an ad in the latest version of Vogue, which were all AI generated models. And beyond the fact that the AI models were even like more cliche than even normal. I mean, they look like what somebody thinks a pretty woman looks like versus, it was ridiculous. The level of AI there. And even beyond the quality of that, the reaction to it is something that is fascinating to me, which is happening right now, which is they didn't read the room, right? It's like nobody wants more of that. And what really sold it for me as a loser this week was they went, the article that I read, and there are many articles out there. We didn't actually have one to link to the show, but so you can read all about it. But the one is the quote from the agency. And the agency that basically put this together for Guess and put it into the Vogue issue of Vogue, the quote was basically, well, we're not trying to fool anybody. What we're trying to do is create something supplemental to all the other advertising that Guess is doing. And my reaction to that is, okay, that's even worse, right? That like you just said the thing out loud that you shouldn't say, which is basically, we care so little about you as an audience that we're just doing supplemental because we have more screen real estate than we can fill with real people and real models and real photography. So we're just going to supplement what we're doing with fake stuff. So you didn't even lean in to say, oh no, this is beautiful artwork. And this is, you didn't even lean into that. You basically said, nah, we're just throwing shit out there just to see what happens. And that to me is sort of the quintessential idea, and this is what I wrote about in my newsletter this week, was just, we've reached a peak, just ship it, right? We're at a place now where it's like, it's good. Just ship it. Just ship it all. Just basically get it all out there, because let's just create more noise because there's more noise out there. And that to me is just a big loser in the long run when it comes to brand. And that brings me to Sydney Sweeney, and which is going all kinds of viral for the wrong reasons. And her partnership with American Eagle, even to the point where now Trump is commenting on it, which is just, insert heavy sigh here. Everybody is pointing to the fact that they're doubling down. American Eagle decided to double down. Sydney Sweeney apparently is also doubling down on it, saying, hey, basically it is what it is. And look, the ad is whatever. I'm not sure I buy into, but I'm certainly respectful for those who did find offense at it for the eugenics thing. I think, to me personally, it's a little bit of a reach, but certainly I'm sympathetic to the people who are offended by it. But beyond that, it's just a mediocre ad. It's just not that great. It's again, just ship it. There were so many interesting things they could have done with Sydney Sweeney that they didn't do to introduce the brand and a narrative that could last for months or quarters or years, that they just didn't do because they're basically chasing virality like it owed them money or something. And so it's this thing that we're in now where any attention, and this goes to the Kiss Cam thing as well with Gwyneth Paltrow. We're in this sort of era now where any attention is good and no attention is bad. And people are making creative decisions based on this. And I'll finish it by saying, I think the real reason that American Eagle's a loser here in the long run, maybe not in the short, they got a stock boost, yes, whatever. But I think in the long run, this is going to ultimately hurt their brand more than help their brand, is because what we're losing now, and AI plays a big role in this, because we're starting to see now that there's less diversity in the room. There's less people in the room to go, hey, maybe we don't want to say it exactly that way. Or, hey, maybe let's think about the long-term implications of putting Sydney Sweeney in this sort of idea before we put this out there. They're not taking that pause before they hit the publish button. And I think ultimately that's going to hurt brands more than help them. And I think the whole pressure for attention right now is really a danger for brands and marketing teams.
It's almost like there is no past. There will be no past. There is only right now.
That's right. It's a great way to put it.
And the problem is we're seeing it pay off for some organizations that are doing that. Now,
exactly.
Now I want you to be right. I want you to be right where it's going to hurt them in the future.
I'm going to be right. I'll be right. I'm highly confident in my rightness.
I don't know. I'm not. I'd have to see if. Now, the one thing I will say on the influencer stuff, where the AI use of it, I believe that in the next 12 plus months, people won't be able to tell. There's not, it's funny. My kids talk about AI slop, and I say AI slop. That's right now, but there won't be AI slop. You'll be following influencers, and we've already seen it over the past few months and few weeks.
Let me push back on that just slightly, slightly, because you may be right. But here's the thing that I've been saying lately to clients and people when they talk about that idea, which is there's a famous saying that today is the dumbest AI you'll ever use, right?
Yes.
But we have to remember that today is also the dumbest version of us that we'll ever be. In other words, yes, it may outpace us. It may not. In other words, our ability to detect AI, and let's be honest, we are generally pretty good at it. When your spidey sense goes up that it was AI generated or partially AI generated, especially when it comes to video or imagery these days, pretty good. You pretty much know. Text is obviously a lot harder to tell, and there's false positives and all sorts of things, and it can be partially rendered and partially human and all that. And I don't think that matters much, to be honest. But when we start thinking about this, it may not ultimately matter, right? It may not ultimately matter. A good image, a memorable image is a memorable image. A memorable video is a memorable video. An emotional video is an emotional video. Emotional text and good text is good text. Full stop, end of sentence, right? M dash or no M dash.
Sure.
So the point is that I believe that as we continue on here, that we are also getting better at detecting these things. We also, and yes, the AI may outpace our ability to detect it, but I also believe that we will catch up. So there will be, whether right or wrong, right? In other words, there is a future, probable or improbable, there is a future where even if it's human generated, if it looks like AI, it's going to give people the ick. And so there will be a swing of the pendulum to say, let's make it purposely not look like AI. Like we're going to insert errors, or we're going to make it look like a Super 8 movie camera, or we're going to, whatever it is, so that we absolutely can see that it's human generated, because we don't want people to even for a minute assume. There is a future where that exists, right? So it'll be an interesting trend to see. I don't know that we're ever going to get to the point where it's AI slop is so perfected that it merges invisibly into the fabric, and basically makes content impossible to differentiate. I think our human agency will have effect on that.
I'm on the other side.
Yep.
I believe that not only will we not be able to tell, I think that you're talking about like it doesn't matter if humans can tell.
It may not. It may not.
Whatever need needs to be met will be met, AI or not, or a combination, which it probably will start with a combination, and then it will just be AI. People don't care. Right. That's the problem.
They may not.
People
they may not.
do not care. They're not looking for, is it AI? Is it real? I'm not going to get political at all, but I saw a couple videos of people that had come out about a certain person doing a certain thing, and people said, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he does this. I don't care if she does this. This is what I want. I'm not saying that is a majority of Americans. I'm saying that's a strong vocal part of Americans right now. They do not care. So when you get into the part about AI, it's like they don't care.
I don't disagree. Want what they want. What's the P.T. Barnum? Nobody went broke. Underestimating the intelligence of the American public, or something like that. That's the quote. I can't remember what the quote is.
The more you have people that are just viewing stuff, and they're 6+, 7+, 8+ hours just consuming media.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's not going to get better. I want you to be right, though. But
I'm hopeful. I'm looking at all the young people. I'm looking at the young people out there to basically fix this, because it ain't gonna be our age people. It will not be.
Well, maybe AI will fix it.
Maybe
AI will fix it.
Maybe.
You never know.
Maybe.
There's a positive part. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get to our rants and raves quickly here, because we need to go off on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave over something that makes us feel, I don't know, like we're the 4th string quarterback on the Cleveland Browns, or the 5th string quarterback, or the 1st string quarterback. Basically makes us feel like we're on the Cleveland Browns, or not. You want me to go first, or would you like to go first?
I'll go. That's fine. First of all, I'm a big Joe Flacco fan. Flacco fever right here. I want Joe to play this season. I really do. So I really don't care who's the backup, if it's Shadur or not. But I think Joe's got 2 or 3 good years in him. You actually had this article in our regular show notes, and I'll put it in as well. It just basically talks about earnings season. All these CEOs from big brands are talking about how they're using the creator economy. Again, if you want some more detail, go ahead and put that. But anyways, in these earnings calls, there was a lot of talk about leveraging influencers on different platforms. And I went through this, and in all these cases, they were talking about outside people. Again, back to what I talked about 10 minutes ago with Savannah Bananas. This is a moment in time where these brands are using outside people, and I think this is going to change quite abruptly. That you're gonna have these influencers inside your organization, and 2 things are going to happen. One, this is the harder way. They're going to start to look at people in the organization and say, "Good, this is a big part of marketing now is building up these creators so they have a following, and that's the way we're going to go, because we need to break through all this clutter, and this is what it's going to happen." The other part is maybe we find these influencers out there in the wild and bring them in. They're a part of our marketing team now. I think both things are going to happen, but it's easier, honestly, to do the second part than the first part, because you get in these big brands, sometimes you forget your employees
Takes the
are
risk
your
out.
biggest asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes the risk out.
Yeah, because you're already like, oh, they already have a following. Let's bring them on board. I think
Right.
that's
Oh, and they can be jettisoned easily, right? They can be, I mean, take the Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle, right? If it goes south for Sydney Sweeney at some point, the American Eagle can jettison that very, very quickly. It's harder to jettison someone that is like an astronomer learned this the hard way, right? It's harder to jettison somebody that's internal to your, I mean, you look at that CEO. That CEO could have been a great influencer and maybe at some level was in their niche audience, but then he does something completely idiotic and now you got to lose him. Right. So it's the risk factor is totally something to identify, but you're 100% right on the focus.
We'll see what happens. And by the way, this is happening in some organizations.
It definitely
is. I'm always surprised that there's not this, how many you've seen all the influencer programs, they're putting so much money into
I've been
it,
doing training. I've been doing training with companies that recognize this and been going out and doing these sort of the win-win part of it, right? So half the workshop is why the company wins and talking about the processes and governance you need to put in place. And the other half is sort of the win for the employees. Because there are some employees who are like, I don't feel like I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be on social media, or I don't want to be an influencer. I don't care about that, or I don't care about the topic, right? In many of these cases, you've got people who do want to be on social media and do want to be talking about their, whatever it is they want to talk about, but they don't want to talk about the topic of the company. And so you have to sort of talk through about how, it's not about talking about the company. It's about talking about what you want to talk about, and then somehow relating it to the company is a good thing for you and for the company. So,
well, and then yes, you're absolutely, I love that you broke that down. I think that for people that want to keep and grow in their jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's want a
nothing
job
else. It's a career move. Yeah, exactly.
What I'm saying is you have to accept that this is part of your job. Like, being out there as an influencer will separate you from the other people that are going to get let go. I'm not saying that marketing jobs are going away, but they sure are in chaos right now.
One might say that they need to burn the playbook.
Thank you for the pitch on my new book.
There you go.
Very excited. I'm excited about your new book.
It's going to be.
I can't wait till you're going to start
totally
promoting it. Yeah,
I've had a few folks reach out who I gave sneak peeks to, and they liked it. So that's always a positive.
Good take. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Very, very quickly here, because while we were gone in July, of course, what we didn't get to do was talk about how much I hated Superman, and so. Yeah, that I'm going to save that for some other, I'm not going to bore people because I ranted about it on Facebook and all of that, but and I know I'm in the minority. Trust me, I'm aware of that, and maybe I'm old and yelling at clouds or something. But Superman, no, big thumbs down. Anyway, but what it did give me was real hope for the new Strange New Worlds new series, and it has more than met my thirst. Basically, it's been so good. We're on episode 5 now, and it's absolutely delightful. They're taking it to another level. This fan service that they're doing is huge. Even if you're not a fan, you can enjoy the episodes, but for those of us who are fans from the very beginning, it is absolutely stupendous. There's, in this last episode, there is so much fan service there that it's impossible to even identify it. So I'm loving the storytelling. I'm loving the level of fan service that they're doing and how they're attracting new people into the whole thing. So yeah, big rave for Strange New Worlds this season.
So I didn't love Superman, but I didn't think it was a stinker.
Oh my God, it was just so much. I mean, it was just, good Lord. It's just like, oh, you got a pocket universe. And, oh, you got a million monkeys typing out social posts. And, oh, you got this and you got that. And, oh, there's another villain. And, oh, there's a monster. And, oh, there's this. It's like, and by the way, Superman's a big wuss and he can't actually defend himself. And it's like, I'm glad they took this pendulum the other way, that he could actually be hurt and you actually worried. And, there was some tension there about him getting hurt, but it was like, okay, they took it a little far. It's like, anyway, I'll give spoiler alerts if I go too far. It's just, it was a lot. It was too much.
I see your point. I see your point,
but they could have made a much simpler story is my point. There's a much simpler, because the performances, like, I can't remember the actress's name off the top of my head, but Lois Lane and the Superman performance was absolutely out of this world. Right now, newspaper editor, gave him nothing to do. The whole Jimmy Olsen character as a womanizer, I don't get. I mean, I've never gotten that. Like Jimmy Olsen as a sex object. What? Like that just baffled me.
That was kind of strange.
It's just all of the dialogue, that monologue at the end where he talks about, I'm just a human looking at a boy, trying to make the boy love him. It's like, oh God, come on. So anyway, I'm getting off on a rant again.
At least we have Happy Gilmore too. I mean, that is the most. By the way, boy, you either love that or hate it.
Yeah,
a friend of mine absolutely thought it was the worst movie ever, and I thought it was.
I won't be seeing it because I didn't see Happy Gilmore 1.
Yeah, it's you don't have to. I mean, there's 78 cameos.
Oh, that's a lot of cameos.
And no Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, well, good. That's good.
But Travis Kelce has a main part in it.
All right,
and Bad Bunny is in it.
That doesn't make it sell anymore. That doesn't.
40. So
neither of those.
It's the most as far as we can tell, the most watched movie over a weekend in the history of movies.
Okay.
47 million people watched Happy Gilmore 2 from Friday through Sunday opening week.
Good for them.
Weekend.
Good for them.
I was not
one of them. I'm not one of them, but good. I'm very happy for Adam Sandler. There you go.
Adam Sandler is, I think he's making more money than any actor on the planet right now.
Yeah, probably.
And it's it's something. Anyways, what do you got going on?
This weekend I'm going to go visit the Dallas Cowboys training camp because I'm that guy. And other than that, try and step away from the computer and have a rest. But it is mostly just client work for me. I've been doing a lot more travel with clients over the last couple of weeks, and I have a couple of more trips coming up here in August, but including CEX, of course, at the end of the month. But other than that, it's getting ready for the book launch and fixing up the website and doing all that stuff, getting ready for the launch of the book and all that kind of stuff, which I'm going to debut at CEX. So how about you?
Wait, I have a book at CEX as well that I think is coming out. I mean, we're in the final couple of weeks for Content Entrepreneur Expo, CEX, August 24th to 26th in Cleveland. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Anybody who wants to come see us together will probably be at a bar somewhere local by the convention center, talking to people. CEX.events. We'd love to see you there. I'm really looking forward to it because all our friends and family are going to be there.
It's going to be great.
A little bit of a reunion, if you will, and looking forward to it. If you're a content creator or you want to be one, please come and join us. And it's good. It's not a huge event. We'll have about 350 people there. It'll be great. So we'll have a good time.
Lovely. All right. Well, there you have it. We're back. So we're back to normal and regular shows again. We'll see what happens over the course of the next few weeks here as we get closer to CEX and special episodes and all of that. But other than that, we are back and so glad to have you along for the ride. And go check us out on the YouTube channel, will you? Because that's where we're having all the video and all the fun, where you can see the ads and all that stuff. And until we see you again next week, just remember, everybody, it is your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in this week's episode, and thank you all for being a part of This Old Marketing. You can check out all the show notes of what we talked about today at thisoldmarketing.com, and it's also where you can leave us a review or a voicemail. We need those reviews and comments on whichever platform you follow us on. And if you haven't followed the podcast, please go do that and make sure you catch the latest and greatest episodes every Friday morning. We're on Apple and Spotify and all your other favorite podcatchers, of course, but we'd love it if you went over and subscribe to us on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. youtube.com/@thisoldmarketing. We'll see you again next week, folks, with another episode of This Old Marketing.